I have restarted this video so many times because I want to wrap up, but I don't know what to say. And I have a guest. Welcome to the party. Okay guys, hi, for those who don't know me, my name is Chloe, and today I'm going to be doing my September wrap-up. I'm just getting into like booktube, bookish content, so I don't really know. I'm going to zoom out. Okay, I don't really know what a wrap-up like entails. Like, I don't really know what I'm supposed to do. So I'm going to talk about each book that I read this month, or that I listened to this month, and give you how many stars that I rated it on Goodreads and the Storygraph, because I'm using both, and talk a little bit about what I liked and disliked, and hopefully that wraps it up. I started this month by binge listening to, well, I was already in the process of binge listening to the Harry Potter series online. I didn't like buy the audiobooks, but I like consumed them via the library and binge listened to them because my goal was to determine if these were actually good books with a shit author, or they have a shit author who's a shit person, and also the books were bad and I'm just misremembering them. If that was a bad thing to do, please call me on my shit, because I was morally conflicted, but I was like, is this something I should do to consume just for the point of criticism? And I decided that it was okay. But if it's not, tell me. But yeah, I ranked all three that I completed in September 3 stars. And if I look this way, I'm looking at my computer. But that was Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. All of them were 3 stars, and of those 3 stars, 2 of them came from the audiobook performance, because I thought the audiobook was done really well. And when I'm rating audiobooks, I rate how good of an audiobook it was as part of my rating. I think that outside of the ability to build a world, the Harry Potter series has nothing going for it. Like, the world was built, and then what? You kept coming up with things to happen, and the characters were kind of shit and kind of proceeded to get shittier. So yeah, I don't want to harp on those books, but they were all 3 stars, 2 of which were for audiobooks. I read the next read I did, and the first physical read of the summer, of this month, not summer, that I did was Dear Evan Hansen. I started it in August and finished it in September, and that's by Val Emmett, and I rated it a 3 star just because it felt like a attempt to be critical, like a really good try to be critical about mental health issues, but like no cigar. Like, close, like you almost had it, bestie, but then you had someone pretend to be a dead guy. I also want to say that I might have been hypercritical of Evan, because that just might be his anxiety. And So the blatant lying really wasn't for me, and I'm like a fan of lies, but like lying to dead people's families, like I couldn't get on board.
Like, but anxiety changes your mindset. So,
It felt flawed, and it was also a really slow read. Like it took a while for me to get through this book. And I think maybe that was because I was experiencing secondhand embarrassment for the characters, for Evan, who should be embarrassed, who should be stupid. Don't you feel silly? Don't you feel stupid? Don't you feel a little ashamed? Anyway, so that was that. And then I read Heroes of the Fourth Turning by Will Arbery. And I'm really mad that I read this in the first place. Not mad, because, like, I like to read. But I read this book. It's a play. I picked up this play for a job application where they're like, can you do a critique of this? And I was like, sure. Read it, did the critique. They said I did a really great critique, but they weren't gonna hire a woman. Okay. Um, but I get like writing the critique wasn't the problem, reading the play wasn't the problem. The problem was that this was some conservative Catholic play dream, fever dream that I couldn't relate to at all, that I wasn't the demographic for. It was conservatives arguing about conservative things in their conservative town in middle America. It was set in Wyoming or Nebraska or somewhere else that's somewhere. Um, like, I understand in theory why it's worth analyzing Catholic conservatives talking to other Catholic conservatives, because in the play they were like exploring the discrepancies between their Catholic conservatism, but on a literal level, I'm not the demographic for this. It didn't hit for me. It wasn't giving what it said it would be giving. 2 stars, and that was generous. And one of that was for like giving academic credit where academic credit is due, because I can give academic credit where academic credit is due. The next read I did was Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell, which starts the Rainbow Rowell kick of the month. Basically, like I had all these slow reads in the beginning of the month, and Eleanor and Park was the slowest read of them all. But once I finished, I got into my reading bag. I was living. I was Hannah Montana. This is the life. Hold on tight. This is the dream. It's all I need. I was out of my reading slump. Eleanor and Park forced me into a reading slump because the middle of that book was painful to get through. It's a cute romance. I rated it 3 stars, but like it's YA cute. But I'm the grown age of 22, and I didn't like the fetishization of Park, and I felt like the stakes weren't high until the very end. I wanted plot. I wanted to not just read about them sitting on the bus for 100 pages. I wanted to feel. I felt like the black characters were just characterizations. I felt it dragging, and it took too long to read. I literally am looking at my computer. I started this September 5th, and I ended it September 25th. 20 days to read a book? No, 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 no. And I was also in a reading slump, slash like a personal slump in between all that. But still, no, 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 no. In between, like while I was still in Eleanor and Park, I started Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, which is part of the Simon Snow series, like trilogy, because I was tired of Eleanor and Park. but I had checked out all these Rainbow Rowell books from the library. The only reason I checked out Carry On is because I read Fangirl in high school, and I liked the idea of Carry On in the Fangirl universe. It's very different in application. Fangirl has a slow start. I mean, Carry On has a slow start. Like, it is slow to get to, and I was listening to it while having the physical book, which is one of my favorite ways to read books. And the start was slow, but once you kind of get used to the universe, it was good. I rated it a 3.5, like 3.75 stars. Yeah, what to say. Like, I could have gone without the first 100 pages, but the plot was good. My biggest problem, it was like a cute story. My biggest problem, though, is that it's a trilogy, but the book could have existed as a standalone, and no one would have batted an eye. Because the story ended at the end of Carry On. Like, there was no lead on to the next book. Nothing. And so I felt the need to read the next book just to be like, what the fuck do you have that's going to happen? And it was stuff. Like just had to come up with stuff. Like, she clearly had to come up, Rainbow Rowell clearly had to come up with stuff for another novel. And so it did. And so that's where Wayward Son comes in, which is not the next book I read of the month. But we'll talk about it now since we just talked about Carry On. I rated it 3 stars. I felt like it was unnecessary, which is my whole point. Like, I felt like I could have gone without it. It was a cute little adventure. It was fun. It was what the girls needed, I guess. To like re-enter the universe. Not even the universe though, because they weren't on Watford's campus. They were in Middle America and Vegas. But either way, it was cute, it was fun, but it wasn't needed. And then it led me up for this third book that I now have to pick up because the second book has a lead on into the third book. But the first book doesn't have a lead on into the second book. Weird to me. Okay. But before I even finished Wayward Son, I finished She Drives Me Crazy, which I binged and rated 5 stars. I got into everything about this book. It was giving me everything I needed. It was giving me everything I wanted. It was giving me, this is by Kelly Quindlen. It was giving me diversity. It was giving me sapphic. It was giving me what I wanted out of a read. It reinvigorated my reading spirit. It watered my crops. It fed my children. Come get y'all food. Literally. Come get your food. Kelly Quindlen fed. I really related to Irene. Probably too much. I really liked, I'm blanking on names. No. Oh, I really related to Scotty, but I really liked Irene as a love interest. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, I felt like Scotty was like perfectly flawed. And I felt like Irene was as well. This probably isn't like a 5-star piece of literature, but to me, personally, it was a 5-star read. And that's all that counts. Then I did Aristotle and Dante. I'm gonna get the candy corn off my throat. Snack time. Then I did Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. I rated this 4 stars. If you don't eat candy corn during the fall, the door's there. Right there, Resty. You can go. I'm joking. But yeah, I think this was a 4-star read. It was solid. Maybe it was the setting, some of the language for like the period threw me off, and I was kind of like bitter. It also felt slow, but it like mirrored the slowness of coming out for Ari at least. So I like that. I did not like Ari's brother's reason for going to jail, which I won't reveal, but I felt like that kind of ruined the book for me, especially because it was supposed to be a queer love story. It was kind of anti-queer. So I gave it 4 stars, like literally just for that, or else it might have been a 5-star read for me. And then just yesterday I finished The Bell Jar. 5 stars. I read this in 10th grade, so it's technically a reread. But I must have a problem. Because Esther Greenwood has consistently been like, oh yeah, she makes sense to me. Do y'all relate to Esther Greenwood? Or am I sick? Because I'll be like, yeah, bestie. Literally, my annotations. I annotated the electronic copy this time because my physical copy of The Bell Jar is still annotated from 10th grade, and I do not want to hear what 10th grade Chloe had to say. That girl was sick. But yeah, so I annotated the electronic copy, and I was like, yeah, bestie, so true. This is relatable. I understand what you're going through. Don't you feel?
How many times will I reference this TikTok? Too many. Too many.
Silly?
Cut her off.
Yeah. So don't read The Bell Jar if you're mentally ill and you don't want to be on the precipice of a breakdown. But 5 out of 5 stars nonetheless. That's my September wrap up. I really enjoyed what I read this month. And next month, I have plans. Spooky plans. I'm going to be doing spooky reads, mysteries. It's giving mysteries. It's giving murders. It's giving my sister the serial killer. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more of me, you can click anywhere on the screen. If you liked this video, you can give it a like and comment and tell me what you read this month. I would very, very much love to hear it. I am so appreciative of you all. And I hope to see you soon, back again with another video. Bye!